A white woman in first class sneered at a young black girl boarding the plane. Moments later, her expression would completely change. Before we dive in, tell us which city or country you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. The boarding process was smooth and quiet. First-class passengers were settling in, flipping through magazines and sipping bottled water. The hum of the aircraft mixed with the occasional rustle of carry-ons being placed in overhead bins. Everything seemed calm, typical even. But that was about to change. One passenger's assumptions were about to collide with reality in a way that no one on board would forget. A sharply dressed white woman sat in 2A, scrolling through her phone. When she looked up and saw a young black girl walking into first class, she raised an eyebrow. "Oh, this should be interesting," she muttered, not quietly. The girl, no older than 12, froze. She clutched her bag tighter and glanced around nervously. A moment later, her aunt appeared behind her. Tall, calm, professional. The woman's eyes narrowed. The girl didn't speak. But her silence said everything. The woman beside the girl carried herself with quiet authority. She wore a tailored navy blue blazer, flats, and no makeup, simple but elegant. She didn't respond to the insult, didn't flinch. She simply placed a hand on the girl's shoulder and guided her to their seats. Other passengers noticed but said nothing. Some looked away, some nodded faintly, unsure. But something about this woman's poise made it clear. This was no ordinary traveler. And this wasn't over. Her name was Naomi Ellis, an executive board member of the very airline they were flying. She had chosen not to fly under VIP status that day. No special treatment, just her and her niece, Layla, returning from a leadership conference Naomi had just spoken at. She didn't care for flashy entrances. She believed in blending in, observing. Because this flight wasn't just any flight. 3 other board members would be flying as well. And Naomi had personally scheduled this meeting. For a reason, the woman in 2A grew louder. "I think there's been a mistake," she said to a passing flight attendant, pointing directly at Naomi and Layla. "They don't usually let people like them up here." The flight attendant paused, unsure. Naomi remained still. She reached into her bag and handed the attendant a sleek black card. "Board executive access." The woman scoffed. "That's fake." Layla looked down, eyes welling up. Naomi leaned in and whispered, "Watch how silence works." Her voice was soft, but firm enough that even the woman in 2A heard it. Just before the plane door closed, 3 well-dressed airline board members stepped onto the cabin. The mood shifted instantly. Conversations hushed, eyes turned. They spotted Naomi and greeted her warmly, exchanging handshakes and smiles. The rude woman in 2A stared in disbelief, her smugness replaced by shock. Naomi gave a slight nod toward the woman, a calm but pointed gesture. "She's been quite loud about who belongs in first class," Naomi said softly, but loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. The air grew thick with tension. One of the executives turned sharply to the flight attendant. "Is it true?" he asked. The attendant nodded, confirming the woman's discriminatory remarks. The woman stammered, "I didn't mean it like that." "We have a zero-tolerance policy on discrimination," the executive said firmly. "Please gather your belongings. You'll be rebooked in coach." The woman's face drained of color as murmurs spread through the cabin. Her arrogance was gone. She complied silently. The woman protested, "But I'm Platinum Elite." Naomi stood, steady and calm. "So is my niece." The cabin fell into a hush. Passengers watched silently, some ashamed, others quietly approving. The woman was escorted down the aisle, head bowed. This time no one looked away. Her words had consequences. Her place in first class was gone. Naomi and Layla settled into their seats as the plane lifted off smoothly. One board member whispered, "We'll be making crew changes after this flight." Naomi nodded. Power isn't loud. It listens, watches, and acts. Layla smiled, pride replacing hurt in her eyes. To everyone watching, a reminder. Respect should never depend on skin color or assumptions. And next time you judge someone, ask yourself, what if they own the place?